to skip the level. Oh, I hear the music right now. We'll actually ask you to skip the level, and therefore not having to do that level. There are like 4 or 5 levels where it's actually helpful. However, it's way more fun to actually not do it. Oh, and there goes the race. As you can see, they're both playing with Funky Kong, who is a new addition to the Switch version of this game. And he does bring a few extra functions to the table. One of them is infinite rolling, whereas normally you need one of the Kong characters on Donkey Kong. I will refer back to the Donkey Kong route, as TonesBalones might go to it. And it's actually pretty helpful to know the history behind that. So infinite rolling, double jumping, which is also something that's actually the most valuable thing that Funky has to offer. Other things that Funky Kong can do is hovering, which is something you'll see not as much, but it just can save you from jumps you're not supposed to make. Standing on spikes, infinite air underwater, and having 5 hearts, as you can see in the top left. Both runners are still pretty much neck and neck. First level is pretty long, however it does definitely give you a pretty cool introduction into the game that's called Tropical Freeze. So, there are 41 levels in this game, or at least in the route. There's like 9 more. And obviously we're taking the fastest route. That was a pretty nice jump from both runners, where you don't have to climb the vine, but rather jump from the penguin. And new to Tropical Freeze, which is not a thing in Returns, like I said already, you can go underwater, and Funky Kong has infinite air. So I could probably, like, tell you the story of this game. It's Donkey Kong's birthday, and Tones didn't... He did not have access to the double jump. He now either has to wait for the raft or go back to the raft and respawn the monocle Monica. That definitely puts him behind by a little bit. He's waiting for the raft. And I totally forgot the story that I was going to say. Oh yeah, it's Donkey Kong's birthday, and all of a sudden these snow mats are just taking over the islands. Okay, so RDV just entered 1-3, Canopy Chaos, and you can see this giant vertical thingy over here, vertical level design. This level is the home of Cranky Kong, and back at Donkey Kong's Rats, or back at Donkey Kong, he has 3 helpers in this game opposed to 1. He has Diddy Kong, who has a jetpack, Dixie Kong, who has her hair, which is basically the jetpack plus a flutter jump, so it's actually the better one on land. And then Cranky Kong, and when we're talking about speedruns, definitely is Cranky Kong you want to look at. Because his pogo stick, or skein rather, it has the ability to don't don't cause any slowdown, meaning that if you pogo with, say, a speed of 80 units per frame, that's a lot, but bear with me here, you will not lose any speed, whereas if you roll or walk, you will actually lose all the speed that you have. So Cranky, this game, he's not the one you're going to play with 100%. However, he definitely is going to be valuable if you don't have access to Funky Kong. And even if you have access to Funky Kong, there are a few levels which are way better to do with Donkey Kong rather than Funky Kong. However, switching costs time and, well, you know, it has to be worth it. So RDV just entered 1-4, which is the first auto-scroller of the game. There are 5 in total in the routes. 7 in total. And you can see him jumping all around, even when not necessary. This actually speeds him up by just a little bit. Not noticeable for the human eye, but it definitely helps out. Yeah, I definitely want to mention that both of these runners are pretty close to each other in terms of PB, whereas Tones got a 131, I believe. He got it this week. Whereas RDV, he has a 133 or 134 if I recall correctly. However, he is capable and has the same skill set as TonesBalones, so this is going to be a good one. Ooh, that was clutch. So, new to Tropical Freeze, more hearts than one. I'm also comparing a lot to Returns, which is, because it's a prequel, it's definitely worth mentioning. And on the Switch version, if you decide to play with Funky Kong, you actually get 3 hearts rather than 2, which is kinda overkill. However, it is also, for casual play, Funky Kong definitely is easy mode, because he has so many abilities and hearts and whatnot. It definitely can be seen as easy mode. For the speedrun, I would say it's definitely a different way to play. Not per se better, or worse, or easier, it's different. In any case, RDV just entered the first boss of the game, and this is where the game definitely picks up. This is Pompey, the Presumptuous. And let's say that his boss is pretty broken in the Switch version. RDV tried to give him an early hit, which he... well, the setup was good, however he wasn't close enough. So, instead of killing these enemies as fast as possible to let Pompey like spawn all the way, what RDV is trying to do is trying to give him an early hit. I need not say more. And that's definitely new stuff, but also pretty, I don't want to say difficult, but pretty tricky. The fastest way to do this boss is actually with Cranky Kong, because his cane is just so OP. He's a really good attacking weapon, as well as a way of transportation. So yeah, most of the time, unless otherwise specified, if you play with Donkey Kong, you would play with Cranky Kong as, again, he's the fastest. Both are using iframes definitely to their fullest extent. Taking damage is not that big of a problem, luckily. Alright, so this is the old God Caught that RDV is trying to set up for. He's trying to hit that fish as soon as possible, which he did, and then give an early hit, which is the easiest one, but it's still pretty tricky to do. might I say, hitting that fish in the air is just pretty cool looking. So let's see if Tones can do that. So he somewhat got caught. It's a pretty clean fight after all. Both runners are trying to do the new straps, however, if you want to be the best with Pompey, you have to play with Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong, and that switching to Donkey Kong just for that just is not worth it, as the time gain is, yeah, it's just not enough to warrant the switch. So RDV just entered World 2. This definitely is where the game ramps up in difficulty because there are pits right now. There are pits everywhere, and Cranky Kong does not have any aerial defense, unlike the other two, Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong. And might I say, the soundtrack is definitely one to talk highly about. I want to give shoutouts to David Wise. The next jump RDV is making is pretty scary looking, but he can just make it. It is even possible without the little hover that he did at the end. That all has to do with the grab jump. That is a thing only Funky Kong can do, and it just gives you a little bit of extra height and distance. And it just makes a lot of things possible. They already have been using that jump a lot. And how the grab jump works is pretty simple. You jump, you grab, and you do the double jump. Yeah, Tones did the real, whatever you want to call it, 2-1 bounce. I do want to mention that RDV might be, what is it, 20 seconds ahead? This is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and that is a Donkey Kong Country game, and those are pretty difficult for Nintendo standards. So the battle is far from over. So RDV just entered 2-2. Mountain Mania, and the Wii U version known as Reset Mania, as it's pretty easy to mess up. You're also supposed to use Cranky Kong on his cane here, because every time you start a dash with Rambi, you will have this little startup, and every time you go from platform to platform, oh. Okay, looks like we're back. So, where was I? Every time you start up the dash, it just has a little animation, and every time you jump, you have to restart it up, and, well, it's just a little bit, but it definitely is enough to stack up and lose a lot of time. And if the cane can definitely prevent that, then by all means, use Cranky Kong. However, the double jump definitely takes over. Another thing that you saw RDV doing, and I don't know if TonesBalones uses that thing, he actually does, is if you are on those swinging platforms and it's going forward and you dash forward, you will actually get a speed boost, which definitely benefits in speed, and it's so good to see in the middle of the level. RDV just entered 2-3, Horn Top Hop, and this is one of 3 levels in the game with global cycles. And what I mean with that is as soon as the level starts, everything starts moving in the background because you can see the instruments already. That is going on with the music. So if RDV makes one mistake, instead of doing the route that he has learned, which is most optimal, he has to react to everything as if it's new. Most of the time, at least. Whereas in every other level, the moment something gets on your screen, it actually starts with... it actually starts happening. So it doesn't matter if you lose 20 seconds at the beginning of the level, please don't. The rest of the level is still the same if you do it perfectly. This level, however, doesn't. And with Funky Kong, it's not that big of a problem if the leaves are at a different height. However, if you're playing with Cranky Kong, he has no aerial defense. If you're in the air and you see like, oh, I'm going to die, there's nothing you can do against it. That was a really good 2-3 from Tones, I have to say. Alright, RDV just entered 2-4, which is the second auto-scroller of the game. Or minecart level, which is hopefully a better name for it. I see none of the runners are diehard collectors. So, whenever doing races, like back in the day, this level has a big machine in here, and every time someone enters, they go bzzzt, just to let the others know how well they are doing in the run. Little bit of cool trivia. Oh, I would definitely... yeah, there's a something in chat. And I would say definitely go for the Switch version. Load times are way better, as levels are better optimized and the CPU doesn't crash because of bad programming. And you can choose. And it definitely depends on what level, what character is faster. Funky is faster for some, the Donkey Kong Trio is faster for others. And it just depends if switching is not slower than actually doing the level with the other one. So, and both runners... Actually... Okay, both runners did 2-4 without any hassle. It's pretty easy to die in the end. So, this is... RDV currently is on 2-5, and this level is normally where you go from Cranky to Dixie Kong, for the sole reason that Dixie Kong has a better aerial defense. If you actually die, or if you make a mistake or anything, you can actually save yourself. The hardest part of this level is the beginning, which TonesBalones just did perfectly. Also, there are flying penguins in this level. And other than TonesBalones being a little bit behind, he is definitely keeping up, if not being a little faster than RDV. Alright, 2.6, your favorite Windows font, Wingdings. Or Wingding, rather. This level is only for 50% an auto-scroller. And while it kind of is an auto-scroller, there are ways to actually speed it up. If you don't jump when it's not necessary, like RDV did at the end, or if you grab the utmost beginning of the find, it will actually push you a little bit forwards. It only helps, like, I don't know, 2 seconds in the level, but for ILs, oh, that's also something. You can see the black and the gold bells. The black bells are mandatory to hit, otherwise the find or the level doesn't build itself. And RDV actually forgot to build the last ones, I guess. Tones, or the gold ones, they just transform bananas into something that's worth more. So you can skip them, but it doesn't waste any time, so go for it by all means. Okay, so something in this level that's only for the DK speedrun is that there's this DK barrel that RDV just passed, and Tones will pass him like right now. So you want to have Funky Kong again, because not Funky, Cranky Kong, because he has his cane and that's faster. And the way how character deciding goes is that every second, as soon as the level starts, the barrel will go from Diddy to Dixie to Cranky and then back to Diddy. And that goes per second. So in that level, you want to do the first part as fast as possible, because you will only have half a second of leeway before, when you get there, it will actually go back to Diddy Kong. If you miss it, you have to wait 2 extra seconds on top of the half second that you had for the barrel to go back to Cranky Kong. And yeah, Cranky Kong definitely is worth the 2-second wait, but please be fast. Okay, the second boss, Cowl. Where this might be the best boss of the whole game, and I'm safe right now. However, I'm just going to say this is the best boss of the game. Whereas Pompey, you have to do a lot of waiting, and you have to wait a lot of here as well, but there's also a lot of speed tech you can do here. Like these little egg birds, I'm just going to call them little birds. There are only a few of them per attack, and you have to juggle them and throw them at the exact time to go fast. RDV just missed one of the throws, meaning he has to wait an extra 15 seconds before the next one spawns. And he had good RNG, however, he didn't wait per se for it. The first phase of Scowl, yeah, what is that? Also 12-ish seconds. The second phase, if you miss one of the throws, 15 seconds. You can see Tones here, for example. Oh, he messed up. Unfortunately. You definitely want to throw these little eggs at a certain time to make sure that you have access to all 3 of the birds. So RDV currently is in the 3rd phase, and you see all these slow attacks? Well, you definitely want to do this phase the best you can, because there are only 2 egg bursts here instead of 3. So, you just hit the boss for the first time, and you also hang on this little egg, this little bird, until after the next attack. You can just hit him normally, and just off screen RDV hit him, and that's a good phase 3. If you actually missed one of those hits, you would have done all those attacks again, which could cost you up to... no, not up to, like from 50 seconds onwards. It's pretty punishing. So Tones also didn't have the best luck in phase 2. Hopefully phase 3 goes better. Oh yeah, as you can see, Funky, he can just land on spiked enemies with his pretty rad, what is it, surfboard. Oh, he's taking it real careful, and if I can tell you anything from the run that I just had, it's always better to be careful and take things slow rather than dying, because that just takes way more time. So, and that's a perfect phase 3 for Tones as well. Back to RDV, however, he's currently on 3-1, which has the best music in the game, and I'm sorry for talking. I know this is not supposed to happen, but I'm going to... actually, never mind. This is the 2nd level where it's important that you be as fast as possible, because there are global cycles here. And one of those global cycles is that dark zebra that RDV was just on. That thing goes around every 6 seconds, and if you go at least a little bit fast, you can get the first cycle. Yeah, it's just 6 seconds. Be fast. Other than that, best music of the game. RDV, try to go for the quick barrel, just possible, and if you do it quick enough, you can actually mow all of the grass on that bird's head in one go, but it's pretty difficult. I totally didn't switch the music just because this track is great. RDV just entering 3-2 Baobab Bonanza, which is a pretty cool level to do pretty fast. There's a little glitch going on here right now with Funky Kong. It's kind of eh. Good commentary, by the way. Heck yeah. Other than some good platforming right here, RDV currently is at the autos fall apart. It doesn't matter what you want to do, you have to wait for this giant baobab fruit to clear the path to the next part of the level. He's not going to do the play, unfortunately. Alright, this is a level where I have some stories to talk about. Free, frantic fields. If you remember your Cranky Kong, wherein his pogo actually doesn't lose him any speeds. There are these, what are they called? Little tornadoes. If you actually go into them, and then it will actually blow you out with a really high speed, or it will block you. It's really awful, and it can actually throw you with that max speed through the level if you pogo well enough. And yeah, only with Cranky Kong you can do this level within a minute. And now 1 minute 10. Let's see that. However, it's pretty difficult to get the trick. It's called Dosido, by the way. And not only is it difficult to get it, it's also difficult to maintain it. So it's actually only something that high level runners will do. I would assume, at least. And there's also Rambi in this level. The second level with Rambi, and RDV actually didn't pick him up. Normally, what some runners do, you get the second Rambi crate, not the one that Tones just passed, because that is just slow. But I guess that RDV was thinking that wasn't the best thing to do, because he is pretty slow. However, he definitely speeds up some parts, because you can just waltz through rocks, I guess. Let's see what Tones is going to do. He's pretty close. Denied! Poor Rambi, no one lost him. Alright, 3-4, Scorching Torch. This is a really beautiful level to play and really stressful to play as well. There's a lot of places that can damage you, and with Funky Kong that's not that big of a problem, because you can just waltz right through everything. With Donkey Kong and friends, however, you have way less hit points. Funky has 5, and he can lose 4 health before dying after the next hit. Donkey Kong, normally, like in the normal game on the Wii U version and in DK mode on the Switch, you only have 4 hearts if you have a partner. In Funky mode you have 6. However, those are not per se 6 hits. It's 3 plus 3, where after losing 3, or 2, I guess, you will lose your partner. And if you lose your partner, you will lose his abilities, or her abilities, and that's pretty bad. It will definitely put you at an advantage, meaning that whereas Funky can lose 4 health and be fine, Donkey Kong can only lose 1 or 2 hits if you're on Funky mode as well. So back on Wii U, you could only lose 1 heart, and after that you had to be really careful. So, hope you like the music right there. Donkey Kong Country 2 Sticker Bush Symphony. And 5 seconds after you get the rocket theme with a flute. The strat that RDV currently is doing is with Funky mode. You have 3 hearts, and what you can do is just stay on top of this level like all the time, and everything is going to be alright. You get hit a few times, but you have enough hearts to make it to the secret portal. You only have to go down for a heart once, but after that, yeah, he's just taking it easy. A lot of other runners are just taking the time to actually collect things, because why not? But on the other hand, you can literally do whatever type of story, take a drink while doing this level. Which I don't understand why you would, but okay. So yeah, as you can see, RDV currently is going into the secret exit portal. You can only go in here with Dixie Kong or with Cranky Kong. But obviously, Funky Kong can do anything. And what this does is, instead of going to 3-6, you go to 3B, Bramble Scramble. If you know the name, yes, that's from Donkey Kong Country 2 as well. Going back, there are 3 levels you can go. One with the normal exit, one with the portal that we just got, and the other one that's also in the secret portal, but that's like a little bit later in the level. Actually, it's at the end. This portal is halfway the level, so not only is that faster than going through the whole level, the level RDV is doing Bramble Scramble is pretty fast if you do well enough. There's another level that's a little bit faster, which is normal exit, I believe. However, cutting the previous level in half definitely saves in that department. So this level is pretty interesting as well. You can see that the level just gets built in front of you, so you don't know what is going to be the move after your next move. However, as a speedrunner, we memorized this level by heart. Ooh, that was nice. Symmetry. Yeah, these folks memorized the level by heart and yeah, blaze through it. Tones definitely is doing pretty good keeping up, but RDV is already at the boss. Free boss. Baboom. The bomb. I forgot his title. But this is a pretty interesting boss, and if you are playing in the Wii U version, prepare for RNG. There's a lot of... yeah, actually everything on the Switch version is set rather than random, in the boss battles at least. Okay, so something more about the boss fight. You can see these monkeys, and if you hit them, their fur color will change a little bit. And all monkeys have 3 hearts. However, if you kill one of the monkeys, the rest will get their health back. So what you want to do is focus on one of the monkeys. And RDV just... oh, that was unlucky. So, what is that? You want to focus on one of the monkeys, and then go on to the next. Every boss monster in this game actually has 3 phases, 3 hits in each phase, totaling up to 9 hits total. So RDV currently is at the end, and... oh, did I actually miss the hits? The Kobe? Excuse me! Phil Mickelson? Oh, he didn't do the Phil Mickelson. These monkeys will throw watermelon bombs, and if you catch them in the air and throw them back in the same jump, that's actually pretty swaggy. They call it the Kobe and the Phil Mickelson, in that order. If you need more bombs, then, well, you're doing something wrong. So RDV just entered World 4, which is Water World. And Water World actually is pretty interesting because it's actually faster by like 20-30 seconds to go switch over to Donkey Kong and use the underwater abilities of your pals, where Diddy Kong is actually pretty useless on land. He actually is the best underwater because he has a jetpack, and the jetpack just blasts you through the water. Not only do you have a smaller hitbox and you go faster, but it's also easier to like steer in the water with Diddy Kong. Dixie Kong is only useful for secret exits because you need the spinny air. So you can actually go against hard currents. And Cranky Kong, well, Cranky Kong doesn't actually make you faster. He just punches with his cane. I say it's like a little bit mad because it actually doesn't make you go faster. So Diddy Kong is always going to be your weapon of choice. For the boss fight, he is actually invaluable. Cranky Kong is the Fugu boss, but oh, you're actually not going to see it. I expected, because TonesBalones is actually a cranky runner, since he learned the game back in 2017 when Funky Kong wasn't even a thing yet. I expected him to switch. So we're not going to see any Donkey Kong today. So RDV is backtracking for this level, and this is actually the best hidden secret in the game, if you ask me. Because there's no indication that you have to go back unless you know what you're searching for. And with that, instead of doing one auto-scroller and then 2 underwater levels, of which one is half of an auto-scroller, because it has a chase scene, you actually go to 2 pretty interesting levels. So first of all, for a Rockin' Relics, the interesting part about this level is when you're playing with Cranky, this is the only level in the game where you have like a sidekick trifecta. You enter the level with Dixie Kong, since Dixie Kong, you actually need her to go to these secrets. Then at the first barrel you will go to Diddy Kong because he's faster underwater, and there are 2 underwater sections here, but you only use Diddy for 1 because it's faster. And then with the last barrel you go to Cranky, but not only is Cranky Kong faster because of the pogo and stuff, it also helps so much that going into the secret portal, you actually go into a secret portal here as well. There's a setup where if you do it, where if you do the setup, it's actually just full pogo, full pogo, full pogo into the portal. Whereas with Funky, well, just look at how much RDV probably is going to struggle. Okay, he's not struggling, but it could be much faster, believe me. And what I mean with full pogo is there are like 3 levels of pogo that you can do. Just like there are like short hops or small jumps and high jumps, small bounces and high bounces, and then there is the low pogo, which is just tapping A on the right time. There's a full pogo where you actually hold A, where you go super high, and then there's middle, I guess. Wait, is there middle? I don't know. Okay, so enjoy Aquatic Ambience, which is probably the best track from DKC 1 music. It's so good. And this level is a labyrinth where you have to get keys, go to the chest, and rinse and repeat. So something interesting about the Wii U version, because this is the only level where the Wii U version is actually pretty fast. Because of how I guess, collision works. What you can do is, right at the beginning, you can throw Diddy Kong over a ramp, and it will put him out of bounds. And with that, instead of doing this whole labyrinth, you can just go around the level and swim all the way towards the end. That saves, well, I would say about a minute if you get it, get the out of bounds like third try or something. However, for that you do need 2 players, and they fixed it in the Switch version. That's actually the only glitch slash out of bounds this game has that is unintended. Yes, this game is almost DuckTales. Both runners are currently in... what's it called again? Solitol. It's a pretty cool, relaxing level. While there's no out of bounds action here on the Switch, it is a nice breezer before... what do you call it again? A gauntlet of pretty difficult levels. Well, it's actually only the next level and the boss that's pretty difficult-ish. More on that later, though. I do want to mention, it's all underwater. So, currently, the only level in this game where you don't, or in this world, where you don't go underwater... oh, RDV missed hitting the penguin with the melon, however, it's not that awful. But yeah, there's no water here, it's all on the beach ruins, I guess. And it's... you actually go pretty fast in comparison to underwater levels, which is pretty slow. I say fast and you have to wait here, yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's actually... oh, okay, so RDV went a little bit too fast and lost his footing. However, it was super close to a checkpoint, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so there's some barrels over here that can shoot you out. However, there's a cool trick that you can do here, and RDV, hopefully, he did it! He did the strong dong. So, when turning that wheel of barrels, I guess, they will actually ricochet a little bit further than where they need to be, and then go back into neutral position. And if you time it just right, you can actually just jump. You can actually go into the barrel that's pointing upwards rather than waiting for the wheel to turn around. That's called a strong dong. And RDV did it pretty good. And the last thing that he did is only possible with Diddy, Dixie, and Funky Kong. And in my race just now, I died because of it, but whatever. Instead of mashing through the crates, you can actually go around the crates. Yeah, that's a normal name. It's called crate skip. Alright, 4-6. Oh, I didn't see if Tones got the strong down or not. My bad. In any case, this one was pretty interesting. Back with Donkey Kong strats, you actually had to be super fast and on your toes. Because there are some barrels here, and RDV didn't get the barrel. That will cost him some time because, oh yeah, definitely if you miss the heart. Alright, so not only do you want to be fast since barrels will turn around and you want to have Diddy Kong at all times, and if you want to be as fast as possible, you do want to get the cycles also as fast as possible. Do not wait. There's also a barrel underwater, and instead of 3 seconds where it goes around the full block underwater, it actually gives you more time to react. But if you miss it, you'll have to wait more time. Instead of 1 second, it's 2 seconds per Kong, so it's a 4-second time waste. And not only that, there's a lot of places where you want to take some damage just to speed up the level. It's more punishing on the Wii U version for the reason that you only have 1 heart to spare rather than 4 over here. But even then, if you have more hearts to spare, you can go a little bit more reckless. But don't overdo it. Alright, Fugu for boss. Blink and you'll miss it. So this boss is pretty broken because his butt is his hitbox, and his hitbox is always present. So what you can do is wiggle yourself just behind Fugu, and once he exposes his butt, you can just go and corkscrew into it. And something that makes this happen is whenever you have 1 heart remaining, this boss will 99%, I don't dare to say 100%, but at least most of the time, if not all the time, will give you an extra heart, so you can do this infinitely. However, you have to be outside of Fugu to corkscrew into him for him to have damage. With Cranky, however, his cane has a pretty long hitbox, so you can actually hit him from pretty far away while you're not moving, and even from within Fugu if you get pushed inside of his hitbox. That's why Cranky definitely is a world record holder for Fugu. Even though swimming is not his strong suit. What a guy. Something I should also note is that both runners try to, rather than the outside of the arena, have Fugu, the boss, actually hurt you, because he will actually always push you straight down, whereas the bounce of the level actually just throws you in a random direction, and it may be bad, it may be good. Yes, I'm both rocking the chat and the mic. Am I good? RDV currently is in 5-1, which has the longest load of the game. For the reason that the first time you go into a level, you go into a world, the whole level actually gets some thingies that needs to load. Ooh, RDV just skipped the elevator, or kind of skipped the first elevator, and he skipped the second elevator, at all. It's definitely a beautiful level, however, there's a lot of places where you can get hits. Or just lose a lot of time. And he's at the end already! Got an imp. With TonesBalones being just behind them, only half a level, which is a little bit more than half a level, which is still pretty good. It's a long level. I would say there's about 1 minute and 30 seconds difference between the two. So there's this thing here on the elevator TonesBalones is on right now. If you land on it perfectly, you actually go. You can actually just like go through, and the thingy will actually. What am I saying? The rails will actually build right in front of you. It's called the thrusting trolley. And in marathons, it's like, oh, he could trust the trolley. It's another in-joke, I guess. Okay, so RDV currently is in another rocket level, and this one is not as easy as the previous one. There's a lot of obstacles like flying penguins, and the Stux in his mech suit. It's pretty cool. There's something that I could tell you in here. You know how whenever you jump into a rocket barrel, you have to hit the jump button 5 times before you actually go blasting? On the Wii U version, and also on the Switch version, but the timing is a bit different. Mostly on the Wii U version, if you buffer all the inputs, which you can do by pausing, unpausing, and pressing a button, and then rinse and repeating it a few times, you can actually start it so fast that in the first rocket level that we saw, you would actually go crashing against the wall that's supposed to open, or gate, I should say. And in this level, you would actually go backwards. The model, that is. You have to do this level being invisible. And you will die somewhere halfway. I'm not entirely sure. This was only told to me, but it was pretty interesting information. This would only save time in ILs, or individual levels, not per se in a full game speedrun, which are mostly done RTA. And that's the end. I do want to mention that going to the next level, Fruity Factory, this whole world actually is Fruity Factory. In the first level, you could see that a lot of fruits were harvested, whereas in the next levels, all of the fruits were being processed. Like at Tones, you can see cutting happen, and right here in Fruity Factory, there's a lot of cutting as well, and smashing, and grinding, and I'll continue that story once we get into 5-6. Watermelons getting drilled, that kind of stuff. It may seem like this level is working on a lot of global cycles, however that's not the case. It's just a camera-based level. RDV jumping forwards, however, that isn't faster per se. Okay, you see that barrel right there and then got hauled up by the crane, whereas you just couldn't reach it. The community actually tried everything they could think of to actually get into that barrel early. Camera manipulation and all that kind of stuff. but it didn't happen. However, in comparison, what did happen is that before seeing that ending barrel, you can actually hear it and you can actually reach it before seeing it. So at least you got that, but it's still like 30-ish seconds of climbing the giant barrel. Okay, I hate to focus on RDV's thing, but there's a lot of things to talk about. This funky barrel that RDV just passed and didn't grab, which he might regret, especially if he goes into these spiky walls. Well, that's the only funky barrel or DK barrel in this whole level. And back with Donkey Kong, you would need Dixie Kong right at the end to go into the faster level. The faster secret level, that is. If you get hit twice, it's all over and you have to do a pretty slow level called Jelly Jamboree. With Funky, it's easier, but you can see that RDV already took 3 hits. So TonesBalones is just behind by 1 minute and 6 seconds according to the ending of 5-3, the previous level they did. So especially with Dixie Kong, you definitely want to look out because it's pretty easy to get hit in this level, especially in that underwater section that RDV was in just now. It's also a pretty long level, and if you get past the checkpoints, that doesn't mean that you will go to the barrel. So yeah, it's definitely suspenseful, let me tell you that. TonesBalones is actually gaining up if I had to guess. In any case, RDV is going into Gem and Jams, and that's a pretty cool level. This is the last level that's global cycle based, whereas anything that happens, if he makes a mistake, the level goes a little bit. However, you go so fast that for some things you actually have to wait, so there is definitely a bit of leeway, especially this part where RDV is right now. You have to wait for these jumpers, and a few other thingies, but other than that, you do have to react to what's happening, but because it's not always the same. There also are not a lot of... Okay, that was a good interruption. RDV just self-defeated the character, to say it nicely, just to get his horse back, because it is pretty... And... oh, he was so lucky there. I assume he doesn't really know that section too well. It's pretty painful. Meanwhile, Tones is actually catching up right now. Yeah, like I said, you have to react, and otherwise that happens. Okay, he got past it. Especially with Funky Kong, you can just go into that ending barrel. Tones having a little bit less problems with that problematic section, at least. However, he's also pretty low on health. He's just using the slap strats just to waste some time that he needs. And he also makes it. Currently, he's only 31 seconds behind RDV. Ooh. So, 5-6, Frosty Fruits is a pretty interesting level. Where I wanna... Oh, he got rejected by the watermelon trampoline. Cool. So you can see that all the fruits come together in this factory. And it gets transformed into these red ice cubes. And speedrun-wise, you can get a lot of speed here. Or if he just did... he didn't do it, so I guess... Check out TonesBalones, this thingy right here. He goes slow here, but he gets super speed right there. And then back to the story. All of those ice creams, ice cubes, get transformed into, yeah, ice cream, I guess. Popsicles. And especially in this hot weather, this is something I want. There's also a lot of damage boosting you do here. Oh, Tones is actually a little bit stuck. Okay, you got out. That's cool. However, it's not done yet. The story, that is. So Bassmaster, the next boss, was the coolest name. If you actually watch the cutscene, which RDV is going to skip, especially after the marathon run that we had 3 weeks ago. You can actually see Bassmaster just lying around, seeing the popsicle, and a Funky comes and kind of make him throw it in the water. So, for this boss only, Funky Kong is a bad guy, not Bassmaster. He's just a polar bear with a spiky hammer. On the other end, this is, in my opinion, a really good boss battle. However, he's pretty long. This is the longest boss, if done perfectly. If every other boss is also done perfectly. It takes about 3 minutes. And he has a few attacks, and some are random, especially the Ice Cube. The Ice Cube one that you saw earlier, that TonesBalones is doing right now. You could have a bad cycle or a good cycle. However, they made it so that it's always the good one. Wait. I believe RDV just missed a hit earlier. Meaning that RDV and TonesBalones are, yeah, they are a few seconds apart right now. This is going so well. So in the second phase, all he does is jumping around and then create ice cube towers, I guess, and just slice around the level. Nothing too special here. I do agree with the music here being alright, so I'm going to be quiet just until the next phase. Ooh, that was painful to watch on RDV screen. He got a watermelon bomb, which he needs for this phase, which is over pretty quickly. TonesBalones is taking it just a bit safer and jumping before throwing the watermelon bomb, which actually puts him in the lead right now. RDV just had to finish that whole cycle, I guess. Yeah, cycle. Oh, yeah, and he gets that fire or ice missile attack, I guess. Okay, the fourth ice cube has the watermelon bomb for RDV. He's like, oh, that's not good. He was actually doing pretty careful right there, and he didn't succeed. Tones, however, he got the last phase perfectly. He got this fight perfectly, rather. Putting him in the lead. Oh, that's really bad. RDV just lost the fight against Bassmaster. That sets him back another 3 minutes. TonesBalones, however, let's focus on him right now. He's currently going back to World 6, and nice. He didn't necessarily have to die there because he could go on with a grab jump. We're World 6. If you know Donkey Kong Country Returns, which is the prequel to this game. Wait, what was the thing? Every level in this world is a resemblance of one of the worlds in that game. Because it's the same island. So this is the jungle, yeah, the jungle. And the next level will be on the beach. However, it's all snowed on because of the snow mats. And oh no. Well, Tones is ahead, so he has some leeway, but don't play around too much. In the beginning of this level there was a trickle banana slammer, however Tones did do it pretty carefully. And as I definitely can recommend to everyone, it's better to not die. That just wastes a lot of time, as you can yeah. And then, it's a pretty short level as well. It's difficult, it's short, it's sweet. So you can just roll off this ledge, jump like right here, jump from the snowmat onto the ending barrel. Normally you have to do something else pretty cool, but it's slower. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool, him doing that. (6-2) is the beach, like I said, and where there's a beach, there's water. And in returns, well, you couldn't swim there. You can here in Tropical Freeze, however, the water is so cold that you just, yeah, something that you can't swim. And there's a trick right in the middle that uses the water and how bad the water actually is. Because if you fall into the water, what happens is it will throw you to the nearest place you can safely stand on. And if it's like on a place where you've never been, so forward, it will put you there. And I believe right here, Tones is going to abuse that. No, he's going for the clean bow skip. That actually gets more respect. Ooh, watch out, Tones. And RDV is done with Bassmaster. In the meantime, he is 2 levels behind though. 2 quick levels. but nonetheless, a bit behind. Right, 6-3, the ruins. As you might expect from ruins and old civilizations, the moment you touch it, they will break. And that's definitely the case with all of these platforms, they just fall. And... oh, Tones not going for that. You can actually speed up this level in a few pretty interesting ways. You didn't do it for the first part. However, it only saves like half a second. That's like art or IL material. So right here, there's this barrel over here which you can skip. And he doesn't go for the fast route right here. However... oh, he's not going for the fast route. Instead of going up, like all the way up here, on that long platform, you could roll all the way to the right. And then, if you jump pretty deep, you can actually reach that last barrel that I needed to get to the ending barrel. We'll definitely see it on the RDV screen. And again, that's only possible because of the double jump with Funky Kong. I mean, with the funk. Okay, this is pretty good timing. 6-4. If you know Donkey Kong Country Returns, every level in this small world, 5 levels, free in the speedrun, is an auto-scroller. And this game will not disappoint you. Here's your rocket barrel. That rocket barrel level is pretty interesting as well, since there are no recovery hearts in here, so you lose a heart, you lose it forever. Unless you suicide. And there's only 2 checkpoints. One in the middle and one like at the end. Which, I guess it serves a purpose, but not for the flying part. Okay, RDV is at the boat right now. Let's see if he does boat skip the way I meant. Okay, he doesn't. He also does a perfect boat skip. Which is better though. Definitely. Yes, this also is not an easy level. There's something I could tell about this level, by the way. So, Michael Goldfish, who is a pretty skilled runner at this game, he did a AGDQ 2015 run, which is like almost right after this game launched in April 2014. And he was doing just this level with 2 hearts, and his commentator was talking about vanilla. Yeah, about how in returns you only had 1 heart, and he was like, vanilla, and he immediately got hit. And he was like, okay, vanilla, let's do this. And he did do the whole level without damage. Okay, so come on, RDV, come on! Ooh, saved. Let's see if we can get the deep jump. Yeah, here we go. With the grab jump, you can just get into that battle over there. And here on Tone... oh, okay. Here on Tones' screen, he was actually riding in a snowball, but you have to jump sometimes. A lot of people, when they play that level for the first time, they think, oh, it's a cutscene. But if you look in the top left, you can actually see the minecart icon. That minecart icon means you're in a minecart, so technically there are 3 minecart levels in this game. In this speedrun, sorry. Yeah, not everyone knows it. Doesn't matter too much because TonesBalones is going in the best level. With the best, I mean also the most difficult level in my opinion. If you, yeah, a lot of momentum thingies, and I believe Tones is going for it. Look at that momentum in which he plummeted to his death. It's pretty difficult, and yeah, he's not going for the first one. Just yesterday they found, or today even, they found a new strat in this level. Today for June 26th standards. July 26th, I'm sorry. Something they call the Snow Pseudo, which is, I guess, something from the Dosido in 3.3. But you actually go back and then go for this whole thingy from the beginning where you got the speed the first time around. And then all the way into the barrel, Tones is going in right now. It's just so fast. You can do this level in a minute. Might be for this like 140 or so. Actually, that's still fast. Might be doesn't matter though. There's a lot of momentum boost that you can do here. There's this last one that's, well, none of these runners can do because it's definitely the hardest. The only one you need Funky Kong for, next to Snow Pseudo. And it has a pretty cool name. The Inca Dinka. RDV is a friend of mine, and we were talking about the strat names. He was like, what the hell is a Strong Dong? What is a Gut Cut? He hated all the names of this game, of the tricks. Except for the Inca Dinka, because it's so stupid. Not a problem though. Tones currently is going into 6-6, which is the most beautiful level. And there are 3 in this game, however you only do 1 of them. It's also a pretty... only the beginning is difficult, I would say personally. It's a pretty beautiful level to play, to see, and to listen to. You might have already heard this music in 6.1, but since that level is so short, you can definitely hear it here. It's like this epic, we're coming back for my island thingy. In the meantime, RDV is definitely picking up pace, and he's also going for the momentum boosts. Which he... if he just waited earlier, it was pretty good. He went too far, however, so... he has to sit on the blisters. However, that definitely was the way to do the speed thing. Yeah, the whole level is just in an avalanche, like I would say. Here comes another momentum boost, and he got it all the way to the barrel, which is the easiest one, but also pretty nice. Okay, this level is also pretty special, the TonesBalones is doing. Normally, you're supposed to climb all the way on that thingy there on the left, and then go into a barrel, but that barrel is already there. You can just go in there, wait until a path clears, and then just shoot yourself, saving yourself a lot of time. If you shoot too early, the barrel will break. You might survive, but you do have to suicide. RDV missing the ending barrel. Can he save it? He barely didn't save it. Oh man. Okay. The factory is probably the most recognizable level / world if we're talking about recognizability, and pretty cool as well. It's also a really difficult level to do, but also very satisfying if you know how to do it. Tones almost had the off-screen barrel, which saves like half a second, but it's so swaggy to show off. There's a lot of electricity everywhere, and you're trying to go through here as fast as possible. Fun story about this level though. In the speedrun, in the Donkey Kong speedrun, yes, I haven't forgotten about Donkey. This is what's his name again? Her name, sorry. This is a Dixie Kong level, not... And everyone is joking about, yo, make this a cranky level. So at one point, Crunchya, who's also a pretty high-leveled player of this game, at one point during a Skype call, yes, a Skype call, that's how far back this was. He was like, guys, look at the latest leaderboard thing. And everyone was like, oh my god, Cranky, for the first time ever, was faster than Dixie Kong. And you only had one extra heart to spare, one damage boost, and there's one place where you definitely want to use that. And at first it was only RDV overshot. Fuzzy feels. Yeah, at the beginning it was only like a 0.2 second difference, but at this moment in time there's like a difference of 5 seconds. And even... no, 3 seconds, I'm sorry. Or 2 seconds? Doesn't matter. It's like, Cranky definitely is faster, and you have to wait for a cycle, whereas Dixie does not. If you didn't have to wait for the cycle, Cranky would have been god. However, in the speedrun, it's still a Dixie level. So, talking back about more current events, TonesBalones currently is in the last level of the game, 6-8. It's a Rambi level. It's a mandatory Rambi level. Every 20 meters or something, you need to be on Rambi for him to actually break things to advance. There are enough of these crates, but if you lose them, well, either get another crate or suicide yourself. The worst part about this level though, besides Cranky Kong, obviously, it's like you have to wait for the level to happen. There's a lot of points where you just stand still. Like here. That was close. And this level also has some epic music. Okay, don't play it safe, because you definitely do not want to press A before you actually can. He actually jumped over it so that he couldn't jump from the side and actually fire it earlier. So I wonder, a lot of people, runners, don't like Rambi so much, so they will actually ditch him at the end. Tones does not, however. With that said, those were 8 pretty hard levels. One easier than the other, obviously. It's time for... yeah, it's time to make an end of it all. It's time for the big boss, Frederick the Snowmath King. This boss is pretty unique. He actually goes to the background, and he will, first of all, he will throw away some enemies that you need to throw to him, which is something you never see, but I guess it's safe enough to try it out. TonesBalones went, or tried to go for a quick kill, quick hit. Didn't work, so he just waited. And that hit doesn't actually hurt him. It will only pull him to the foreground, where you have to do the actual damaging Frederick. By the way, before this thing is over, I'm going to link the runner and and myself in the chat, so feel free to give them a follow. So after 3 hits, you go into the second phase. Actually, Frederick walks around 3 times, and you have to hit him all 3 times to go to the next phase. If you miss one, you will actually do that whole phase over again. And that's just a time waste. However, hitting him is pretty difficult. And yeah, it's Tropical Freeze. What did you expect? Ice physics not on the final boss? Ooh, Tones hit 6 for 6 at this point. Frederick will actually go faster the more you hit him in the second phase. He goes from the slowest to middle to the highest speeds. That could be very upsetting. The next time he will run around, because he's in the last phase, he will go the fastest he can. And that's pretty fast. So that other attack that he did, where all the platforms would go up in the air, on the Wii U version, it was actually random whether you got the good pattern or the bad pattern. On the Switch version, you will always, for the first time at least, get the best pattern, and they call it pissing your pants. Which is good. Pissing your pants because it's so fast. Oh, did I miss an early throw? Also, Tones, just 9 for 9. He had a perfect Frederick. Not gonna lie, that was really good. An ending with a 132-52. We'll see if he comes in here or not. In any case, RDV just entered Frederick. Let's see if he's just as lucky as TonesBalones is. In any case, shout out to Tones. He did a really good job during this whole run. It's not a PB, but it's definitely a good time for him. Oh yeah, all of these cutscenes don't have Funky in it, even though he did all the hard work of saving the islands. I just want to have that out there. So that's a perfect phase 1 so far. There's actually one attack that you will never see with Tones, since he had the perfect fight, the 9 for 9. Whereas, yeah, he will not only jump around and do that pissing your pants attack, he will also fire ice dragons at you. Horizontal, not vertical this time around. And he has 3 cycles for that. He has once where it starts down and then alternate with up, down, up, down. The second time you see that attack, and that means like after 3 times of him running around 3 times, you will invert the cycle for that. And the third time you see that, that's 5 times him running 3 times around, and you missing him enough to not hit him 3 times. You will actually only fire 1 dragon, but it's so fast, and you can't really tell whenever he's doing it because he's charging it up. Because so fast. Another pretty interesting tidbit, and this is just me trying to find something to talk about. There are these 3 enemies that he will throw at you. If you miss one, if you hit him with one and then throw another one at the same time that he jumps at you, and that his shockwave will actually be so big that he will knock the enemy out of the air. That's definitely saying something. Alright, phase 3, let's see what happened. Did he? At least he missed at least 2 of them. Okay, so I totally didn't count how many hits he actually put on Frederick, but I can definitely imagine it being pretty stressful. Hey yo, Tones!
Hello.
Congratulations on the run, dude, on the race.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, I just see that RDV just finished with a 138.
138.
Yeah, he had some pretty bad luck. He died on Bassmaster, like right at the last hit. So, you got anything to say about your run? Any goods, any bads?
I'm not too happy about it, obviously. My early game was atrocious. I was not happy with the early game. Like, I missed bug skip in the 2nd level, and then I died in 2-6 and had horrible scowl. Already like 2 minutes behind my PB in World 2. And then after that, I just kind of stopped caring. because I just kind of stopped caring because, you know, I have a bad early game. I'm fine. Just going to play the rest of the game. It turns out I had a really good mid game all the way through World 5. It was very good. Yeah, it was an okay run. That was the best run I've done in the tournament. So I guess I had that going for me.
Oh boy, yeah. Right after World 2, starting in World 3, you had a pretty good run.
Yeah. Yeah, it was still PBable despite the bad early game. But needless to say, like if I was doing 80% attempts, that run would not have continued past World 2. It was one of those runs, you know.
I can definitely understand. Hello.
GG.
Yeah, GG RDV.
I got so salty when I died to the World 5 boss. Oh my god.
Yeah, I saw that,
that's
and
the
I was
turning point.
Yeah, I looked over because I checked my pace to the other runner every world, and I checked and saw that I was like one cycle behind, and I started the 6-1, and I had a really bad 6-1, lost like 40 seconds, and then I saw people saying that, like, you know, sad emotes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they wouldn't really say that in 6-1 because those deaths aren't that costly. But the World 5 boss is very costly.
For sure, it's about like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Things happen. It's whatever. In the end, it was still a fun excuse to play the game again, so, you know.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race.
Like, after I had that death, like the second half of World 6, I just choked because I was just too tilted to play.
Yeah, I would too.
Other than that, though, it wasn't a bad run. Like, I could have actually PB'd if it wasn't for the fact that it, like, let's actually check my face.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Up until Bassmaster, you guys for like 1 minute.
Oh yeah, I was ahead.
Most ahead, yeah.
Yeah, you were usually about a minute ahead from World 2 onwards.
And then you started to get closer, like at Frosty Fruits, because RDV died a few times, and afterwards, and you just skyrocketed past him like 2 levels. Which is understandable, because Bassmaster is the longest boss of the game, and you didn't have the best cycles in the first time through.
Yeah. Did you just get really bad hearts or what? In Bassmaster?
Oh, there's just like, you know, with some of the phases with like the melon bombs that are in the ice blocks.
Yep.
For some of them, you have a really small window to actually hit him. So I was slightly too late, and the next ice block fell on top of me.
Right. So you got hit, but you didn't hit him.
Yes. Also, that happened like twice. So I already missed 2 cycles and was behind you. And then I only had like 1 HP left, and then I just got hit by a swinging hammer because I'm just used to damage boosting through him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a mess. Like it was a mess. Either way, had that not happened, that was a decent run. So not too mad.
All in all, pretty good.
I don't really have anything else to say about the run. Like, we all know what happens. Like that run was really hard for him to win after Bassmaster, and I was playing bad as well. But I knew it was going to be a close match. Like with 2 runners that both don't have a sub 130, the consistency just like we both know it's just not there. So anything can happen, and I don't know. I guess it just worked out in my favor, but I don't know who my next match is against. I'm pretty sure it's somebody who's really good, so I don't have much time left either. So
yeah, it will either be Cruncha or Michael Goldfish.
You gotta be kidding me, dude! Who put Michael in losers?
Well,
who put Goldfish in losers?
No, they're not losers yet. The loser of those.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so one of them is gonna have to put the other in losers.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Okay.
So,
it's gonna be Goldfish Crunch in Grand Finals, I know it. There's literally no chance that I beat them. Like, either of them. My sum of best isn't even better than their PB.
I do really like, though, that for the most part, this race was pretty close. Like, in World 5, we were really close to each other. I feel like that was really cool. So, had that death not happened, it would have probably been close, like, throughout World 6 as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of times we were in the same level, which is always good.
Yeah, for sure.
RDV definitely had the better 6-5. Other than that...
Oh no, I had like 2 deaths.
pretty much the
That's
same.
That's one of the levels why I tilted.
6-5 is really hard.
For sure, especially if you're like already like.
Yeah, if you're already tilted,
like,
you can't.
You have to concentrate on that level, be focused.
Have you seen the
really
new
hard.
Snowsea though?
No. Oh, is that what it? If that's what it called? Because like
It's called
I can't stand the
Snowsea.
names.
Is it really?
Snowsea.
Like the first speed boost?
And not that one. You actually take the first speed boost up until the wheel, then you actually go back to where you get the speed and get it again and take it all the way to the barrel.
Oh, that's.
Oh, no way, that saves time.
Yeah, after all these cutscenes, which are already over, I see. Definitely check the first time on the leaderboards there. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I can do that.
In any
I can check
case,
it right now, actually.
yeah. In any case, we kind of need to wrap it up since in 5
Yeah.
minutes or so, the next Super Mario Bros. 3 match is supposed to start. So that's going to be cool.
Cool.
Cool. Again, GG's to
Yeah,
Tones.
man.
At least I lost to one of my favorite GDQ winners. So.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Good luck facing immature gods.
Yeah, like it. Honestly, like we were playing to lose to Crutcha or Goldfish. Like either way, we're not going to beat either of those guys. So
for sure.
yeah, I'm happy with my
Look at that,
placement in
man.
the tournament.
All right.
Same.
The next match scheduled is the second match of Jock MS versus Spike Vegeta, happening Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And other than that, yes, Spike versus Jock, Michael versus Cruncha at some point, and then Not So Newbie and TonesBalones waiting for their next opponents. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, then that's it. We can let them get set up for Mario Bros. Mario Bros. 3, and send them off, Reek.
Yeah, definitely. Don't forget to follow the runners, however. If you want to show
Don't
your
forget to
support.
like, comment, and subscribe.
Are you a Let's Player? Exactly.
Well, I mean, if you saw that run, you could kind of think I am.
And it's over.